And then the lynch mob began to form in Tulsa. It was like, oh, these are some uppity Negroes who need to be put back in their place. And the violence began. Black Tulsa was, the lynch mob rode in, but they also came in airplanes, dropping bombs on Tulsa. Black Tulsa. There are descriptions and depictions of African Americans being decapitated, being forced to kneel down and just having their heads severed. There are the pictures of the strafings, of the bombings, of the shootings. Nobody's quite sure what the death toll is. But when you look at the pictures, what you see is an area that had once been thriving. What we say is the American dream, absolutely leveled by the violence, by the lynch mobs, by the airplanes, by the bombs, leveled. Black Tulsa has never recovered. As the bombings are happening, as the violence is happening, as Tulsa is on fire, the governor of Oklahoma is like, whoa, maybe, we should. The feds are looking up going, this is not our issue. I bet you, wow. Nothing we can do here. And that is so indicative of the imbalance that has happened in terms of justice, in terms of rights, in terms of the protection of basic civil and human rights for African Americans in the United States.
Well, hello there, my lovelies. It's Tam Tombstone. I am back at Oaklawn for a very special reason. I'm sure most people have heard about the 1921 race riots that were here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Well, the mayor has been working since 2012 to find the mass graves, if there was mass graves. Now, eyewitness accounts say there is. So I came back to Oaklawn because I didn't know that was part of the history here, that this may be one of the spots that are considered the mass grave. Now, a lot of these graves are newer, from 1921 and up. So we don't know, nobody really knows where they're buried here. So they could be a mass grave and then bodies buried on top with their stones. And the way that he is, the mayor, G.T. Bynum, he's doing it like a depth finder for fish, except for it works on land, and they can see in the ground. And they will be able to tell if there's a mass grave here. Now, there's 3 spots in Tulsa. Booker T. Washington Cemetery, and Oaklawn, and, I forgot the last one. But this, a couple years ago, flooded, and a lot of graves were coming up. So it shouldn't have, but it did. But I look around the cemetery, and I'm thinking, well, where could a mass grave have been? Now, you look at the landscape, and really the only place I can think of it being is right here. It's a down slope, as you can tell. The graves are more sporadic, but they're older, so I don't know. They're older than younger than 1921, I should say. So I wanted to come back here and thank G.T. Bynum for doing this. It is a chapter in Tulsa that has to be closed, and the only way to close it is to open it. It's the only way that we're going to heal, and the descendants of these folks finally bring home their families. I'm a firm believer in everybody comes home. I don't care if it's a murderer who won't tell the family where the body is, Dang, tell them where the body is. Everybody gets to come home. No matter what. So I think what the mayor is doing is awesome. Let's get these people their names and their family back. Let's bury them in proper burials. Well, like I said, there are 3 sites. And I'm going to visit each one. And try to give updates as much as I can. This is a very powerful thing here. Because it's still very... Even though Tulsa is so diverse, whether people want to believe it or not, there's a lot of different kinds of people here. And everybody accepts everybody. But this is something that has to be closed in order to start the healing of a very bad time. Now the section that I'm standing in right now seems to me would be a really good place to start for a mass grave right here, right where I'm standing. And I'm going to do a small spirit box session and talk with the spirits, and I'm going to see if I can find out if there are any graves here, mass graves. Maybe they'd be able to tell me something. Who knows? I think it's worth a shot. Even though this is I mean, some of these graves, like C.C. Carter, born 1873, died in 1919. So this was pre-2000 or 1921. So see, it would have to be somewhere around over here. But then you never know. Desperate people do desperate things. They could have dug up their bodies, put the mass graves on it, put the original bodies back on with the stone. I mean, hate will make you do the craziest things, even if it is in the moment of rage. Born 1875, died in 1912. See, these ones, they are old, but this is the only logical place I can think of that these graves are here. Ooh, or over there. I don't know if you can see where I'm talking about. We'll walk over there. But my philosophy is live life to the fullest. Take fear and throw it out the window. Solve 1 problem a day, you solve 7 a week. And you just don't think about it, you just do. And that way you solve all that. You'll solve any problems that you have. You'll sleep better. Now this part here, I don't know if you can tell. Hang on a second. If you see, like right here and right here, it's a big lump. I can't say that for sure that this area is part of that. I mean, like I said, there's some old graves here that predate 1921. But the Tulsa race riots were the worst, well, domestic terrorists in this country, in our history. Died in June of 1918. And you see graves like this, I think I've said this before in my videos, what they do is they don't have the money right away to put a regular stone on. They would do this till the family came up with the money, and they would put a new stone here. But obviously, they couldn't do that. And that's sad. Even death is expensive anymore. What do we got here? We got a whole family of Huddleston. Now, for you who don't know about the race riots, there's a lot of information on Google, YouTube. You can get videos from YouTube, and you can watch it and learn a little bit, and it'll make you angry at what they did just because they were mad because the black community was doing better than they were. And to me, that's a pretty piss poor reason to get mad at somebody and take out a whole town. Now, I don't know if these are stones right here. See right here? I think these are open. I think the numbers are the slot number. Not slot, but maybe lot. All right. Let's find somewhere we can do a short little session. Is there anybody here that would like to talk? Is there anybody here that would like to speak to me? Speak into this box. I'm going to get away from the highway a little bit so I can hear. Keep talking. Can you tell me, is there a mass grave under here? The Peel family. Am I close by to where they buried? Oh, gnarly. I got ADD here. Excuse me. Can you tell me if there's a mass grave under here? Some mushrooms. Okay, now it's starting to get a little quieter. But I've walked up a little bit. I think I'll be able to hear you. Well, that's pretty. The Wright and Giles family? That's pretty. Not very old at all on that one. But you look at the cemetery, You would think, where would they be here? And the only logical explanation I can come up with, after being here a few times, is here. Right there. It would have to be. The cemetery here, I'm trying to remember. It was started in 1912, I think. So this was pretty much open land. So it could be anywhere on here. And people were just buried on top of it. I'm going to try to set this up to where you can see it. Is there anybody here that would like to speak with me? What's your name? What is your name? Did you say Dylan? How did you die? Can you tell me if there's a mass? Can you tell me if there's a mass grave under here? Can one person come through, please? Thank you. And I'll ask. Can you say that again, please? Is there anybody here that knows where mass graves are? Can one person tell me? Can one person tell me, is there a mass grave here? One person, please. Oh, yeah? Is that what you said? Okay, I'm gonna get off of there now, okay? Well, folks, when I go home and edit this, I'll be able to find out whether or not what the spirits say. They could just say, I'm crazy. What are you doing? But I am going to do another 2 in Booker T. Washington, and I think I have the other name in my car. Probably do. Hang on 1 second. Okay. Alright, it's Oak Lawn, Booker T. Washington, and New Block Park. Now those are supposed to be the places where there is mass graves. They said for sure eyewitness here at Oak Lawn. So, don't know. So And I think the technology is great. They don't have to dig anything up. That's a plus. So other graves don't get disturbed. And yes, I'll pick that up in a second. I just don't know how heavy that is. But it's so quiet over here. I wonder if those are mausoleum type things, you know, caskets are inside. Very interesting. I wonder if there's a hole and I can peek in it. No. Give it another 5 years and it'll be open and you'll be able to see what's in it. Just from decay. Like somebody going, hey. It is pretty here though. Winston Lewis, 1847 to 1912. I want to say him and his daughter both were buried together. Father followed 3 years later. A lot of Lewises. You're going to have them right there, those 3 right there. That's a Lewis too. Lewis over there, right next to that big one. (1841 to 1930). That's nice. I wonder what the material's made out of. Hey, Spidey. Bye, Spidey. That ain't going anywhere. I think that one's rust-free. Looks like a little family plot here. Sally C., wife of J.E. Hopkins, 1877 to 1908. She wasn't very old. All right, my lovelies. I will update you as I do these videos. But J.T. Bynum, thank you very much. Please, let's bring these people home. They deserve to have a home, a name, and a family who still grieves. So let's fix this. Let's get her done. All right, all my lovelies out there, I love you. Thanks for joining me on this. Excuse me. And until next time, have a great day.